Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Dr. Fred DiDomenico of Elite Coaching, and I'm really excited to speak with you again, Dr. John Davila. You're like the king of compliance. And the reason we're on here, you got the king and the queen usually travels with you. And the reason we're on here is you're always at our semi-annual seminars. We have one coming up at June 4th, 5th in Denver. The theme is going to be growing your practice and your life from the inside out. And I always call you because you have so much stuff that the world of compliance is always changing. And, we pretty much leverage that out to you since you're the king. And you told me you can't make it that weekend.
Yeah, I'm double booked that weekend. I'm actually going to be away. I have something I got to do. But yeah, I'm kind of broke. I was like, yeah, I'll be there. No problem. Let's do a video. Okay, great. Let's set a date for the video. It's like, oh, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah. But anyway, hey, the world is changing. So I appreciate your being so gracious and to really keep people updated as to what's going on. I mean, as a coach, I get so many questions, and I always tell them, call John. That's not my job. Call John. That's your job. But
yeah,
I wanted to do this video, man, because there's so many things that are happening out there. I want to bring them up to date. So let's go on. Let's get into your world a little bit. You mentioned a couple things that are really important right now.
Yeah, a couple things. Like I know I have a lot of your clients and that I work with from a compliance standpoint. One of the biggest things I'm seeing right now, there's two that we'll talk about, but one of the biggest things is the government really beginning to hit this whole HIPAA thing.
We have to interrupt because we work with a lot of our clients because we want them to be the best, not because our clients are all screwed up.
No, that's definitely true. That has nothing to do with it. It's only because what I found is, and the reason why that they like this is because they get rid of all the unknowns. Right. And when you get rid of all the unknowns, you just make decisions faster. And that's why your people, do really, really well as far as not just from an audit and compliance standpoint, but also from a patient visit standpoint. It's so much easier if I don't have to go look for answers. It's like I already know what the answers are. I just go ahead and do it. In fact, I was talking about this whole HIPAA thing. One of the biggest issues we're seeing is, is especially with your clients, they go out, they do screenings, they go out, they introduce people, they have people that screen for them. And one of the things that you have to make sure you're doing is not just your employees that you have go through some HIPAA training and go through your compliance manual, but we're also seeing that these we'll call them secondary helpers, okay? You have to make sure these people are also taken through HIPAA evaluation as far as HIPAA training to make sure they understand all these different things. I've had this happen once before. It was really, really bad. A screener came into the office and they knew some information, and the patient came in and the patient had a problem, but the patient knew the wife, and the wife was also a patient. But the husband didn't tell the wife what was going on. So when the screener saw them, they said, hey, listen, we heard about your husband, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, what are you talking about? Huge HIPAA problem. And the doctor says, what do I do? And I'm like, okay, well, just make sure if any one of those two people have, did you go through this? She's just a screener. No, that's not how it works. Once she has access to the information, she has access to the information. So you have to make sure that takes place. So I know a lot of your clients do a lot of screenings. Make sure if you have screeners or helpers or people come in, they are certainly taken through what privacy practices are going on. It's a huge, huge thing I've seen lately.
So as soon as there's a conversation, there's liability.
Yeah, especially if they're going to let loose lips sink ships, I think you would say. As soon as you say that, as soon as someone knows something that is considered, personal health information or private health information or protected health information, PHI, you have to make sure like this stays in this box between me and you as far as within the office, and no one else knows about it. And that's a really, really big thing that we take people through as far as within the compliance manual. What is it that they have to know, and what do they have access to? Because obviously, it's easy with a screener. You're not going to give them access to your EHR system. That's a basic general thing. But there are other information in the office, of papers around, they bring it back and they give the other staff the information, everything else. The patient comes in, they know the patient was there. You just got to make sure that they understand the level of security that they now need to know about when they start in the office.
Right. Well, also, and you're right, because one of the things we teach, number one, obviously, maximize your referrals. Those are the best patients, but we also have an obligation to go out and build our culture in the community. Screenings is one of them, toxin companies, all that, which leads me into the question, because a lot of times they give an offer to come in, whether it's an exam or consultation or something, or even at the new patient workshop. The question I get a lot is how do we do that legally?
Yeah, it's funny that it's what I find funny is this. 10 years ago, compliance wasn't sexy, as if it's ever been that way. I find it funny that people want to know, how do I do it legally? And it's interesting to hear those questions because no one really thought about how to do it legally before until you start reading, things like this guy in Utah gets busted because he was offering free exams or free consultations, and that turned into Medicare billing that Medicare didn't like, and now that becomes part of the reason why he's in trouble. So I mean, this happens, and people think, oh no, it only happens to some people. Listen, that may be true, and there is a level, and I'll put it this way, there is a level of compliance gray area in some things, and there's an amount of liability you're willing to take. You know what I mean? How much liability am I willing to take versus not willing to take? Those are big things. So when you finally realize, I'm not willing to go ahead and bust my butt, learn everything that Fred wants me to learn, go out there and speak, do all the stuff, and then lose it because someone didn't like the financial deal I had and they complained about it. Because that's all it takes is just that one. So if you eliminate those risks, you don't have a problem. It's like driving on the highway. You could drive 55 and not have to worry about someone pulling you over, or you can drive 90 and then look over your shoulder the entire time. So, I mean, either way, you're probably going to get to where you're going. It may be a few minutes faster, but you're still going to get there. So, that's what we have to worry about now. But in the way to give discounts, when I ask people, they're like, oh, yeah, I just do it. Okay, and when I ask them, what vehicle do you use? And they're like, vehicle. I just do it. And then I get this. Well, my state board says I can. You get the state board is here. The state laws are here. The OIG is here, and then the Constitution is here as far as fish. And if you ever get in trouble, you got to, ask your state board person, hey, listen, you said give things away for free. If Medicare comes and says, no, that's illegal, are you going to stand next to me and say, yes, it's okay, we told them we could? And the answer is no. So that's one of those things you got to ask yourself. The state board does give you a little bit of leeway, but even then, the state board doesn't overrule the contracts you've written. So even if you sign contracts with insurance companies, those are big things too. But that's the reason why we created that Compliant Coupons program, and we have the ability to actually use the OIG's opinion to be able to create discounts. And there are things that you can do. We just make sure that you're not giving things away, but it's different compared to discount medical plans, because what we do for you when we review your whole entire care plan, we look to see if your coding is correct. We look to make sure not just if coding correct, but also financially whether or not the care plans you're selling are actually profitable or not, and then how to be able to give multiple levels of discounts. Because the truth of the matter is, let's be honest, the government doesn't want you giving things away for free because it is a roadblock to getting care. Does that make sense? They don't want everyone just getting care for no reason. They want people who actually need care and then have to pay for it, which is the reason why they don't want things given away for free. They can give you all kinds of other reasons, but that's what it is. But if you can make care affordable, then it works. So you just got to be able to know how to be able to navigate that without making people upset. So, but it works. We have a ton of your clients that use our Compliant Coupons program for that alone, and gives them the ability to give legal discounts for people. That way they can go ahead and get them into the long-term care plans or lifetime care plans.
Right. Well, and I'm gonna give some of the premises, take a couple minutes on the premises of Elite, because the world is changing, and the things that the profession has been using for decades, they don't work today. And it's not that they don't work for patients, they don't work legally. The laws have changed. We live in a changing world. And so, I belong to a group of entrepreneurs, Genius Network, and Joe Polish started this last session off, and he said, you want to create a sustainable business, which this is in the profession, for the next 25 years, you ask yourself the question, not what is changing, but what's not going to change. And the two things that haven't changed in chiropractic in 120 years, number one, the principle, number two, spinal correction, meaning like, hey, life force in a physical body, keeps you healthy. A subluxation is disease, and let's frickin' fix it. So the rest of the world, though, is changing. And so we have this message that can change humanity, but how we get that principle out. And that's where, I'm going to go off for just one more minute. If you look at, I just went through this with Chris Zano on the Chiro Thought Leaders Ask Dr. Zano. When you look at, you want to create a lifetime patient, you got to shift their mindset. They come in wired a certain way, but really a lifetime patient thinks differently. They got to go against the grain. As chiropractors, we swim upstream like a salmon naturally, and we go against the grain of the general public, but that's what we want to train our patients. So right. What it is, we're seeing 3.4% of the population. We need a different mindset on how we view ourselves. and this is going to tie in exactly to what I'm saying, and that is chiropractic is really the most effective self-empowerment system, because that's a lifetime patient. They become self-empowered to take charge of their health, and now chiropractic is the healthcare application. And so when you're looking at what you're talking about, the problem is practices that are dependent on marketing because they haven't shifted the mindset of their patients, and they're not getting the referrals that they need. So they have to do screenings, and they feel like I have to give a deal or they're not going to attract people. And gee, if I don't give this away, then how can I get people? Because you haven't learned on how to change their mindset.
And one of the funniest things that I remember the first time I talked to you about, hey, listen, I have this program to give discounts. So me, oh, no, we don't do that. And I said, no, wait, hold on. It isn't about discounting your care.
Yeah.
It's about how to make care affordable when you have a certain fee and you have a certain issue. So really what we do in your model is there's a payment, there's a cost for a payment plan if they want to do that. And then we give them a financial incentive to be able to pay in full or prepaid depending on your state. And then from there, we don't give any time of service discount, which is the opposite of everyone else in the profession. I want to give time of service discount. Why? Why do you want someone to make an individual decision about payment every time they come in the office and tie up your office? So now in this situation, you can give a discount to somebody who wants to do a payment plan. They're going to run their credit card every month, no problem. Or you can do a prepay, no problem at all. Now, the other side of it is, oh, sorry, Mrs. Johnson, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get people to understand that we want lifetime care, and that's to be committed. Right. So if you're not paying like everyone else, and you want to come as you want, and as you want to pay as you want to pay, that's not committed. So we're not going to reward that with any discount at all.
Right.
And your clients just love it. It works out perfect because people go, oh, well, wait a minute, it's going to cost me $800 more if I don't do a payment plan. Okay, what was that again? How do I do that? And it works out a million times easier, and it's just a legal way to handle it. So it fits right in with it. So it's not like we're discounting the value. We create the value first and then work our way up. The same way like Zales Diamonds sells diamonds, and no one believes they're getting a $2,000 diamond for $300. They know the value of the diamond is $800. We start at the value of what you're trying to sell first, and then give the patient a financial incentive to buy that.
Well, yeah, and that's exactly it. And I think part of what the profession has taught us is like looking through a microscope. And the problem is people don't value a deal. They will pay more for what they want. The thing is create value, but see, the problem is, you're giving us a legal way to allow the value to match the financial, yet we do make it attractive.
Yes.
We don't give away our care. Like we give away things insurance doesn't cover, like X-rays, or things that, but you don't
get into the care plan and make it affordable. Correct. Let me tell you, you hit on something. Let me tell you a quick story. I have a town in a small rural southern state where I have 3 clients, right, that they all know each other. They all know they're clients of mine, okay? And I know the financial behind the scenes of each one of them because we've done this with them. One of them charges $35 a visit. One of them charges $45 a visit. One of them charges $65 a visit. Guess what's interesting about that? You ready?
Yeah.
Neither of them have a difference in their closing percentage.
Interesting.
They both close the same percentage of new patients. They're both between 65 to 75% of patients not just come in once or twice, but actually go from their onset into long-term wellness care, except the long-term wellness care. About 65, 75% of their patients do that. All 3 of them are exactly the same. So what does that tell you about value?
It's through their communication. Yeah, it's in your mindset. It's totally in your mindset.
And they all offer discounts correctly. It's not about giving the discount. People think, oh, what's the cheaper one's going to sell more? It's the person who believes the value. Now, here's what's funny. The doctor who sells it for $40, $35 a visit could never sell it for $65. Why? Because they don't believe it's worth that. The doctor who sells it for $65 would shoot himself first before selling it for $35 because he believes he's worth more. And patients pick up on that.
Right.
So now you just got to figure out a way in order to get patients to understand how to legally handle it so you don't have a problem, giving patients an incentive to go ahead and pay you for your care. That's all it is.
Well, and that's so fascinating and it's so true. And, Elite specializes in a rehab system, so the value is so much more. Our guys we got guys their average visit is anywhere from $70 to $150. 70s are the guys that are in their first year. You know, the guys that are over $100, they've been an elite and they've learned how to build a value in community.
Well, I mean, Fred, remember the first time you ever went to adjust somebody and you stood over them and your line of drive was dictated by the bead of sweat that fell off your chin?
Yeah.
Remember that? That's called certainty. Number of times that you go over it is certainty. So it doesn't surprise me that, you know, the clients that you have, the more they do it, the more they understand, the more they get results because they believe now what they're selling. The patient all of a sudden picks up on that. So, I mean, if you don't have any, like I try to get doctors to understand, the biggest thing you could do is understand what you're trying to sell the patient. And that's why I love working with you. It's like, okay, guys, the first goal is to understand what we're selling the patient. Then we can go ahead and build our value around what it is they're going to get. I get doctors that want to sell 60 visits. Why? What am I going to get at the end of 60 visits? Well, you'll be well. Okay. But what do I have? What do I have out of that 60 visits other than I'm well? Is there anything I can measure? Is the wellness quotient? Are you saying that my fish oil is higher? What are you saying? And they're like, I don't know. And then I get with your clients like, hey, listen, I want to sell 35, 45, 65, 100, whatever the visits are. And I go, hey, guys, what are you getting at the end of your initial care plan? I'm getting this. Okay, we can look at that.
Right.
That certainty is solid. That's why your clients get that. And it's easy to work with your clients. They know exactly what they're going to get. Because their outcome is always dictated from the very beginning. I know what your spine looks like now. I know how much, based on the 24 chiropractic principle, limitation of matter, we expect to get correction-wise out of what you're doing. So let me build a financial plan around what I expect you to get. And that's the reason why this works so well with your clients. The reason why I love, you know, going to your events. I'm kind of bummed I won't be there. So anyway.
Yeah. Hey, people love you, man. So, you know, I could go, there's so many things you said that I could just go off on. We teach so much of that in the boot camp. So this and this and this, but let's move on.
That's the reason why I love going to your events. I could just go, okay, remember when Fred, I could just walk in, listen to the last 4 minutes ago. Okay, Fred just said these 3 things. And I don't know what you said for the first 6 hours, but I could do a whole entire thing about why you're right and compliance-wise, why it all fits together. And if you just do these 2 things, you're cool.
Hey, it's all about being right. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So
gotta be right.
We started this. I mean, you had a couple things you wanted to bring up. I mean, we got off on this whole, you know, get a visit thing. Yeah, we could go off on that. But there was another thing that's coming up on compliance. I think you mentioned ICD-10 and.
Yeah, ICD-10. It's just something that's real quick. It's just ICD-10 is really turning out to be very, very local. Very, very local. Carriers are very, very local. We're seeing some codes in some parts of the country that are not allowed in others. So, I mean, if you're talking with friends, if you go to your events, right, you have your clients from all over the country, all over the world. But, I mean, if your clients all over the country, just make sure if one guy's doing it one way, one girl's doing it another way, and they're not quite in your area, just make sure that you check and see first before you start going, oh, I know, I found a new way to bill something with this diagnosis code. Just to be sure, because I've seen a lot of codes in one region don't work in others, and we have within our program we have a billing matrix that we try and get doctors to use, and we've had to really edit it based on certain local pockets of carriers and what their diagnosis codes are that they allow. So just keep that in mind keep in mind on that one.
Right on, cool. Well, we don't want to go on and on forever. You know, really the purpose of this was, you know, you're always at the seminars, so we just want to do this video to just say, hey, here's the latest and greatest. Let's catch up. And you're very generous about giving your knowledge out there, so we really appreciate it. And we will be in Chicago. I don't know what the dates are. They're on our website, so I'm hoping that you can be at that one. And
yes, that one we've already worked out. That one we've already got. We'll do a video for that one too. But yes,
yeah, I got it.
Where's this? Well, this one coming up is in June.
Denver,
is where?
Yeah, June 4th, 5th. It's in Denver. It's going to be amazing. We have Patrick Gentempo is going to be there. Rick Sapio, who does a lot of chiropractors, are in business finishing school. Oh, we have Jennifer Brandon's going to teach pediatrics. I have a few topics, and Roberto Monaco always. Roberto's going to be there. You know, we have world-class people as always, and you're always one of them. We'll pick it up in Chicago. But June 4th, 5th in Denver, grow your practice and life from the inside out. So thanks a ton, John, and we'll be connecting again.
Hey, listen, I just love being able to help you attract more attention, we'll call it.
Hey, I appreciate that.
You got it.
All right, brother.
Take care. See you later.
Yep.